Have you ever wondered why some experiences leave such a deep, lasting mark on us? Why a sudden noise can make your heart pound, or a certain smell can transport you back to a moment you'd rather forget? The answer lies deep within our brains, in a tiny, almond-shaped structure with immense power, the amygdala. This is our brain's emotional command center, our built-in alarm system. It's designed to detect danger, trigger fear, and kickstart our survival instincts. But what happens when that alarm system gets stuck in the on position? What happens when trauma rewires our internal wiring, leaving us in a constant state of high alert? Today, we are going to explore the profound connection between the amygdala and trauma. We'll uncover how traumatic experiences can reshape this vital part of our brain, how that affects our emotions and daily lives, and most importantly, how we can guide our brains back toward a state of balance, peace, and healing. Let's start with the basics. The amygdala is a key player in the limbic system, which you can think of as the brain's emotional core. Its primary job is to be on the lookout for threats. When it perceives danger, real or imagined, it springs into action, triggering the famous fight, flight, or freeze response. It sends an urgent message to another part of the brain, the hypothalamus, which then floods our system with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Suddenly, your heart races, your breathing becomes shallow and quick, your muscles tense up, your entire body is primed to survive. In a truly dangerous situation, this system is a lifesaver. It's what helps you jump out of the way of a speeding car. But when someone experiences trauma, this beautifully designed survival system can become hypersensitive. The amygdala can start seeing threats everywhere, reacting to simple reminders of a past danger as if the event were happening all over again, right here and now. For many trauma survivors, the amygdala remains in a state of hypervigilance, constantly scanning the environment for danger. It's the brain's desperate attempt to protect you from ever getting hurt again, but in doing so, it can inadvertently trap you in a relentless cycle of fear and anxiety. So, how does the amygdala become so overactive? It happens when the brain is exposed to overwhelming danger, especially repeatedly. This can stem from acute trauma, like a sudden, life-threatening event such as a serious accident, an assault, or a natural disaster. It can also develop from chronic trauma, the kind of ongoing exposure to abuse, neglect, or violence that grinds down a person's sense of safety over time. When trauma occurs during early childhood, a critical period for brain development, the impact can be even more profound. The amygdala can become wired for constant alertness from a very young age. Even prolonged, intense stress without enough time for recovery can push the amygdala into a permanent state of high vigilance. Over time, through this process, the amygdala learns to associate neutral, everyday things, like a specific sound, a smell, a place, or even a time of day, with the original danger. This is why a harmless trigger, like a car backfiring, can unleash the same terrifying, full-body fear response as the initial traumatic event. The amygdala doesn't use logic or reason. It just reacts based on these learned associations. It's a powerful, automatic response designed for survival, not for navigating the nuances of everyday life. When the amygdala is constantly on high alert, it starts to dominate the brain's functions. It essentially hijacks the system, overriding the more rational, thoughtful parts of our brain. This leads to a whole host of challenging symptoms. One is hypervigilance, that feeling of being constantly on edge, always scanning your surroundings for potential threats. You might also develop an exaggerated startle response, jumping out of your skin at sudden noises or movements that others might not even notice. Emotional reactivity becomes common, where reminders of the trauma trigger intense waves of fear, anger, or sadness that feel overwhelming and out of proportion to the current situation. Concentration becomes a major struggle because the brain is prioritizing survival over things like focus, learning, or memory. Sleep is often disrupted by nightmares or insomnia, as the brain's threat detection system refuses to power down, even at night. This state of constant alert also takes a huge physical toll. The chronic release of stress hormones leads to an increased heart rate, persistent muscle tension, and a deep sense of fatigue. It's utterly exhausting to live this way. Your body and mind are stuck in survival mode, even when the actual danger is long gone. The prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for rational thought and emotional regulation, effectively loses its ability to calm the amygdala down. The alarm bell is ringing, and no one seems to be able to turn it off. But here is the most important part of our story. The brain is not fixed. It can heal. Thanks to an incredible property called neuroplasticity, our brains can change, adapt, and form new connections throughout our lives. This means the amygdala can be retrained. It can learn to relax its guard and respond more appropriately to real threats, not just imagined ones from the past. The journey of healing involves actively retraining the brain's stress response system. Several therapeutic approaches are incredibly effective at this. Trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, helps people identify and reframe the negative thought patterns and beliefs that keep the fear response alive. Another powerful method is EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It uses guided eye movements to help the brain reprocess traumatic memories in a safe, controlled way, reducing their emotional charge. Somatic therapies are also vital. These approaches focus on the connection between the mind and body, using physical awareness and movement to help release tension and trauma that's literally stored in the body's tissues. They teach us to listen to our bodies and restore a sense of physical safety. Alongside professional therapy, simple, daily practices can make a world of difference in calming an overactive amygdala. Techniques like deep belly breathing, mindfulness meditation, or gentle yoga are not just relaxation fads. They are powerful tools that directly activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the body's natural rest and digest system, the counterbalance to the fight or flight response. When you intentionally slow your breath or focus on the present moment, you are sending a direct signal of safety to your amygdala, telling it that it's okay to stand down from high alert. Healing also doesn't happen in a vacuum. Supportive, healthy relationships are crucial. When we experience trust, empathy, and safe connection with others, it helps rewire the amygdala's fear circuits. It teaches the brain, on a deep, instinctual level, that connection can be a source of safety and comfort, not danger. Never underestimate the power of a trusted friend, a supportive family member, or a compassionate community in the healing process. Our lifestyle choices also play a major role in supporting our brain's journey back to balance. Getting adequate, restful sleep is non-negotiable. Sleep is when the brain processes emotions and consolidates memories in a safe context, and a lack of it can keep the amygdala on high alert. What you eat matters, too. A balanced diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and essential vitamins provides the building blocks for a healthy brain. Physical activity is another game changer. Exercise releases endorphins, our body's natural mood elevators, and helps reduce levels of the stress hormone cortisol, directly contributing to emotional regulation. Sometimes, emotions are too big for words. Creative expression through art, music, or writing can be a powerful outlet for processing feelings that are difficult to verbalize. And finally, don't forget the healing power of nature. Spending time outdoors has been scientifically shown to lower stress hormones and promote a sense of calm and well-being. Each of these small, consistent habits acts as a signal of safety to the brain, helping the amygdala gradually learn to relax and return to a state of equilibrium. Under the guidance of a trained professional, another key part of healing is gently and safely confronting reminders of the trauma. This process, known as extinction learning, helps the amygdala unlearn its old associations. By carefully re-exposing the brain to triggers in a safe environment where nothing bad happens, you are teaching it a new lesson, that these cues are no longer dangerous. It's like rewriting an old, faulty line of code. Over time, with repetition and support, the amygdala's fear response to these triggers weakens. You begin to reclaim your sense of control and freedom. It is important to understand that healing from trauma isn't about erasing the past or forgetting what happened. Those memories are part of your story. Instead, healing is about teaching the amygdala and the rest of your nervous system that the danger has passed. It's about strengthening the prefrontal cortex so it can step back into its role as the calm, rational leader, effectively regulating the amygdala's emotional alarms. With consistent care, professional therapy, and a deep well of self-compassion, the amygdala can return to its intended, healthy state, ready to protect you when needed, but no longer trapping you in a prison of the past. The amygdala's purpose is to protect, not to imprison. Understanding its role in trauma is a powerful first step toward taking back your life. The human brain is incredibly resilient. It has a profound capacity to learn, adapt, and recover from even the deepest wounds. If you're struggling, please know that healing is possible. It begins with awareness, it continues with compassion for yourself, and it truly thrives through connection with others. If you found this information helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more content on mental health and healing. Thank you for watching.